So excited today. We're the Hallmarkies podcast, and we are here to do our last recap of the non-Hallmark holiday films of 2018. This is going to be a long one. We've got a lot of movies to talk about. It's going to be really fun. And I'm Rachel, and Amy's here.
Hey, guys!
Yes. So you survived finals.
Yeah, barely, but I made it through.
Yeah. Good job. Yeah, congratulations. And you're ready to enjoy your break?
Oh, yes, I'm so ready. I'm so excited.
I remember those days. When I went to college, though, my mom had just had, when I went to college, my mom was pregnant. And then my, August before my first semester, fall semester, my mom had the baby. And so it was sort of a weird experience. So when I would come home from college, there was a baby to deal with. Just very stressed out parents. I remember coming home and my dad, just like, take the baby. Okay, here we go. So it was interesting. But I hope you get more R&R than I did.
Yeah, I do have a kitten though, and he's only 3 months, so ooh. I have to. He's a little baby, but he's good. He's in his playpen right now. So.
What'd you name it? Your kitten?
Sylvester.
Oh.
His name is Sylvester. He's black and white, and he's perfect. So yeah.
Is that for Sylvester and Tweety Bird?
Yeah, he's this kitten is Sylvester the Third. My mom had a Sylvester the cat growing up, and then I had a Sylvester the cat that I got for my 7th birthday, and he passed away about 2 years ago.
Oh.
And then I saw this kitten online from the shelter that I got my other 2 cats from, and it just kind of fell into place, and he's nice. My Christmas gift.
Well, I support all naming of pets after famous cartoon characters, so good choice. All right. Well, we have a ton of movies to talk about. These are on all networks besides Hallmark. Talk about, and we've had a very busy week on the podcast, so you definitely want to check out. We had I got to interview 2 of the stars from Christmas Perfection, which is still probably my favorite movie of this whole season. Everyone knows how much I loved it, and that was so much fun to talk to the 2 male leads in that movie. It was really fun, James Henry and Robbie. And so check that out. And we did also, me and my friend Sean Chandler did a special horror episode, which was really fun just because just shake things up, try something new. And I was really grateful for the positive response and encouragement that we got. It's hard sometimes to do something new, but I felt like the experiment was well received. So I was grateful for that and for that encouragement. And it was so much fun. And we had a great time talking about Gremlins. How can you not have fun talking about Gremlins and Anna and the Apocalypse, which we'll talk a little bit more about today. But let's dive in. And we have Christmas with the Prince on the Up Network.
Mm-hmm.
And this basically is about this woman who's a doctor, and she went to this boarding school growing up, and they end up having this prince who she did not get along with growing up in the boarding school, and he ends up hurting his leg, and he needs to stay in they make a deal for him to stay at her hospital, but she's very against it because of their personal things, but also because it'll be a distraction to the kids. But of course, the longer they're together, the more the opposites attract and whatever. And I don't know, what did you think about this movie?
It was a cute movie, and I guess like kind of a cute premise, but this movie just bugged me so much. It was so frustrating, and I'm just like, this is so like, it seemed so unethical, this premise to me. And just the entire time he was there in this hospital, I was like, I know the kids don't care because they're little kids and they don't understand that like literally their health care is being like is being prevented because of the problems that him and his team is creating. And I know the kids didn't understand because they were little, but I wish, but the parents, if the parents were around for these children in this hospital and seeing what was going on, they would not have been happy in any way, shape, or form. And I'm saying this as a kid that was a hospital kid that would have been super irritated if this would have happened. So it just, I mean, it was cute. It was a cute presence, attractive guy, sure, lovely, but the whole premise, the whole movie bugged the crap out of me. I hated it.
Well, it really doesn't make any sense because you don't need hospital care for a broken leg. Like, if you have a broken leg, you can go home and just, have people help you. You don't need to be in a hospital for a broken leg. So it doesn't make sense at all. But second of all, so this movie, I was like, oh, it's fine. And it came to like what I thought was sort of a natural conclusion when he, I don't know, there's sort of a moment where I think they either close to kiss or kiss and whatever in the hotel room, in the hospital room. And it just seemed like, oh, the movie's over. This is great. And there was still like 45 minutes left.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
I know.
no.
I was like, wait, what?
And then it was brutal. And yeah, I totally see what you're saying, just because it was illogical that he was there at all. So I was like, why is he doing this? Why is he bothering them? And, it wasn't like, I know some people have had to stay in children's wards, like if you're a little person or if you're small, and you need that kind of equipment and that kind of things, then you stay in the children's ward. But it made no sense that a grown man, with a broken leg,
it doesn't make any sense. I know from personal experience, when I was sick, it was during swine flu, so people were all over the place where they shouldn't have been because everything was crazy. But the thing is, like, they didn't let any person that wasn't where they necessarily should have been prevent anyone from getting the care they should receive or from like harming them in any way. And I feel like him being there and his team, the way they were, I feel like that was harming the way that the children were getting their care.
Yeah. And she did fight for it. She did fight. She was willing to lose her job, but it's still, I don't know. It still just didn't quite work.
It seems so unethical. I don't know how any board would have like approved that.
Yeah, and it was ridiculous. I mean, it was fun for me to see Charles Shaughnessy as the king every now and then because I love The Nanny.
That was a plus.
Much. That was fun.
That was so cool.
But, how many how many stars would you give this one?
1.
Yeah, I gave it 1.5. But man, that last like 30 minutes was brutal. So I don't know. It was interesting. So then the next I watched was called Rent an Elf. This is on the Ion channel, and this stars Kim Shaw and Sean Patrick Thomas. And they honestly tried really hard, but this is another one from Ion that was so poorly made. The lighting, everything was so stark. It looked like I don't know, if I was standing like right underneath my light and it was just so bad. It was very amateurish and all the sound quality was really bad. And the story was just kind of weird because it was about this guy whose wife leaves him and his wife is like this flower hippie kind of whatever yoga lady. And she leaves him. So then the next year at Christmas, he hires this woman that's like an event coordinator, I guess. She owns this business called Rent an Elf but he hires her to plan a birthday party or a Christmas party for his son, which was be fine. But it's not even just that. He like hires her to like entertain them the entire month of December, like a long period, 2 weeks at least, and do all of these activities and all of this stuff. And it was just sort of weird. Like, you're hiring this person to like, why are you, I don't know. It felt weird. And like, why aren't you just doing this with you and your son? You're hiring this woman to like, I don't know, to be your companion almost. It was strange. And, and I don't know. It just did not work at all, either on a technical level or story level. And so I gave it 1 star. And that was just because I felt like they were trying at least. I can give it 0 stars. The 2 actors. It was really bad. So
That just sounds weird.
yeah, it was weird. It was very awkward. And also her 2 assistants were like in a relationship, and like there was some awkward kind of adult humor every now and then like them, and so that was like felt really odd, and it was just bad. It's not a good movie. I'm going to talk about a different Ion movie that was actually good. This one, not good. Okay, so next we are going to talk about Christmas Around the Corner. I'm very curious to hear about your thoughts on this one.
I didn't see this one.
Oh, you didn't? Darn it.
No.
Okay. Well, so this one I did have kind of mixed feelings on. That's why I was curious if you'd gotten a chance to see it. So it's about this woman. They start at the beginning of the movie with her presenting her company to go public, and it's like some kind of a online manicure thing. So, I don't know. It was weird. But they're like, it's big enough that like you're presenting it as as a public stock.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't go as well as she wanted. And so she's like feeling very discouraged. And so she decides to go and visit this country town. She gets to the country town, and next door to she's at like a B&B kind of place. And next door to the B&B place, or not B&B, what do they call that? Airbnb. She's in like an Airbnb place, which is like right next to a bookstore. She goes to the bookstore, and it's like a family bookstore that has been inherited by this guy, hunky guy, and he wants to be a blacksmith. He doesn't want to run the bookstore.
Who in 2018 wants to be a blacksmith?
I don't know. And so she immediately, instead of going on vacation like a human being, she like becomes basically an employee of this bookstore and like is telling everybody how to live their lives and what to do. And she's just like appalled when she finds out that he's going to sell the bookstore. And he's like, I want to do more blacksmithing. And you're like, what is going on in this world?
Does he sell stuff on Etsy that he like?
Yes, yeah. He makes these like bells out of.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, and then there's also this teenager who her family wants her to work at the family tree farm, but she wants to work at the bookstore. But then she also wants to go to NYU to study writing, and she's very huffy with this girl's parents for like not allowing her to pursue her dreams or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, you are being huffy about him not doing his blacksmithing and not staying with the family bookstore, but you're mad at them for wanting her to stay at the family tree thing. And like the mom of the tree lot lady says like, it's stupid to go to NYU and get a writing degree. And I'm thinking, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is stupid.
Like, you're spending so much money. Go to the state school that's 20 minutes away, or the community college nearby.
Or literally just start writing.
Yeah.
Boom. You got it. Woo, you did a great job. So I was just like, that is a terrible thing. Like if you've inherited money and you want to go to NYU and get a degree in writing, go for it all the way. But if it's like
you're a prodigy and you have a prodigy and a full-time scholarship, go to NYU. But
go for it. Why not? But the idea that that's a practical decision and that's a good choice is ridiculous. But so all those things I didn't like. She was very bossy. She was very annoying. But I have to say there were some things I did like. For example, there's one scene where I forget how they get dirty. I can't remember, but they get dirty and they're like washing their hands. And it was a pretty sexy hand washing scene.
How can hand washing be?
But I'm telling you, it was. It was extended and it was really good. And like they did have pretty good chemistry, the two of them, and there were cute moments and that almost made me want to forget, but I tell you that hand washing scene was I bet you ask almost anybody who watched the movie and they'll tell you that hand washing scene was really good. And
was it like a ghost type of scene?
Yeah, it totally was. And I'm all about those kind of scenes. It was very good. But and he was very hunky. So if you're just looking for man candy, this is a good one to watch. And yeah, so I don't know. Like I can't recommend it because I was very irritated with a lot of what happened. But I can see why other people, I'm looking on Letterboxd and there's lots of 3 stars, 4 stars. A lot of other people like it because he was so hunky and because there were sexy moments. But I can't. So I give it 2 stars. So there you go. Do you want to check out some sexy hand washing?
It's on my DVR. Maybe I'll watch it later. It sounds a little interesting.
You text me what you think. Okay, let's talk about Christmas at Holly Lane. On Holly Lane. So this was on Up Channel. And it's basically about these 3 longtime friends who get together for kind of the last Christmas at this house that the Sarah Lancaster character is going to have to sell because her marriage is falling apart. And so what did you think about this movie?
I really liked it. Like, I thought it was such a good, like, ensemble. Like, I think the cast was awesome together. They all worked really good together. The teenagers were not, well,
too insufferable.
They were not as irritating. They were pretty okay. I'm just gonna say the one thing I disliked about it is their whole like, oh, she's growing up in LA, so that automatically means she's gonna like lose. This child's gonna lose any like sense of self or like anything. And I'm like, hello. Many people grow up in LA and are still like normal functioning human beings that aren't evil. So just saying, but okay. I think I'm okay. I don't think I'm an evil human. I think I did fine, but who knows? You never know.
Exception to the rule, right? No.
Yes, I don't know. I know many people from LA that aren't like just like conniving, just want the finer things in life type of people. I don't know, but other than that, it was so good. Oh my gosh, it hurt my heart so much to see Giles Pantano as like, you know what? I was like,
was so shocking. I was like, just because I've seen so many of these movies. Where everybody is just so squeaky clean. When it's like, oh my gosh, Giles Panton is having an affair. I about died. I even tweeted him. I'm like, Giles, how could you? Oh my gosh. It was so surprising. But I have to say, and like for him to get a woman pregnant, I mean, this is shocking stuff.
I was like, well, like, and you know how people are complaining, like, oh, Giles doesn't get the girl? Well, I guess he got the girl this time, but like, not in the way he wanted to.
But I felt like, I think that I kind of wished that this movie was a pilot to a series.
That's what I was thinking. Right? I would love this to be a series. This could be, like, it kind of reminded me of, like, a Gilmore Girls kind of Fuller House, because like they're kind of a bunch of women living together type of like combination vibe. I think that would be so interesting. I want to see what happens. I want to see if Giles's character like continues to actually work with his daughter. How is that dynamic going to work out when the baby comes? Is the mom going to stick around? Like, are they going to get married? How's the divorce going to go? How is this 3 women living in a house together that are in like late 20s or like their 30s, and I just want to see how it works out. Are these 2 girls that they're 13 living in the same bedroom? Is that really going to work out?
Yeah, I know. All those things interested me, and I thought they were all done well and all have like really a lot of potential. I would totally watch that show, and I'm not a TV person. I mean, I really liked Karen Holness and that hunky doctor. He was great.
Oh yeah, I was like, get married.
Yeah, and as much as it was hard to see a Giles Panton playing this part, like he was great.
He did such a good job.
Yeah, and you really are. I am definitely curious to see what happens with them. And Sarah Lancaster, I really think she is one of the most underrated actresses of all of sort of the slate of all the the pantheon of Hallmark talent. She's one of the best, I think. She's, as far as pure acting talent, she's a really good actress, and I think she would be great in a series like this.
Yeah.
She'd be really good.
And I kind of liked that it wasn't like squeaky clean, but it also wasn't like trying to be shocking or anything.
Yeah, it was definitely
like average. It was really like they didn't try too hard to go either way.
Yeah, they weren't like trying to be adult or be shocking, kind of like Life Size 2 or something like that. It was just real people with real problems, and yeah, I liked all of the characters. I mean, as far as I liked them in the sense of they were interesting, I'd like to learn more about them, kind of characters. And so I don't know if anybody from Up TV is watching. if you want our advice,
yeah,
it'd be great.
They just need get a good writer. They could do like definitely like a 10-episode season. Yeah. I would love that. It would be so awesome.
Me too.
And a Christmas movie every year. I'm good. Okay, there you go. I just planned up slate. I'm gonna get the other Amy on the phone.
Let's go. Amy Winter.
Yeah.
We need to make a series. It would be really good. So yeah, that was kind of how I felt as well. Like I really was just like, oh, this feels like a beginning of a series more than even a movie. But I liked it. I thought it was good. I would give it I don't know, 4 stars. Why not?
I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars, and this is my favorite. I'm gonna say this is my favorite off-network Christmas movie.
Ooh,
my favorite officially. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I can see why it was really good. It's definitely in my top 10 of the season off network. Okay, next we are going to talk about. I'm going to just talk really quick about Anna and the Apocalypse because me and Sean did a whole podcast about it. So this is a zombie horror Christmas musical, and it's if you like kind of. How do I explain it? So it's just a really creative, really effervescent, really fun movie. I really enjoyed it. I really liked, especially 2 of the songs. Not like all the songs are fun, but there's 2 that are especially great. And I thought it was actually really joyful and just felt like people doing a passion project that they really, believed in, and people just like expressing their creativity in this way. And so it has a lot of blood, but it's very over the top. So to me, it wasn't scary or offensive because it was so ridiculous. But if you watch the trailer, and I know you didn't like the trailer, if you watch the trailer and it didn't look like your thing, it's probably not your thing. But if you watched it and you're like, oh, that looks interesting or different, then you probably like it. And I encourage you to give it a shot. It is rated R, so it's not going to be for everyone. But I liked all the performances were really good, and I think it totally has the feel of something that will become a cult classic that a certain type of person will watch every year for Christmas. See it do modestly well for an indie film. It'd be cool because I know they worked, and it was so cool because the director of the film listened to our podcast, and I
saw that. That was so cool.
It was so cool. He retweeted, and he's like, oh, Sean and Rachel are so sweet and so great. And I was like, yay. That was really cool. Because we had seriously been planning that podcast, me and Sean, for a year because he saw it last year.
Oh, wow.
So for a whole year, we've been talking back and forth about it. And so when it finally happened, it was really, I was so excited and so proud of it, and I don't know, it was just really cool. So anyway, check it out if it's in your neighborhood. I think it's worth, if you're up for an experimental film that tries some different things, check it out. So okay, let's talk about Hometown Christmas. That was another one you saw, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk about Hometown Christmas. So this movie was on Lifetime, and it stars Beverly Mitchell, and she comes back into town to Louisiana, and she wants to start up her mom's old tradition of this nativity, and she ends up planning it with her old beau, and things are interesting between the two of them as they plan this. We've seen this many times. But then there's also her father, who starts dating Melissa Gilbert, who is her old beau's mother. But that was really cute. I think actually their relationship. And then there's also her brother, who brings his fiance into town for Christmas, and that's played by Erin Cahill. And so there's all these different relationships, and so it's just kind of about the family. So what do you think about it?
This was super cute. I liked the parents' relationship more than I liked the relationship between Beverly Mitchell and the other guy. But I really liked the parents' relationship. I think that was super, super cute. I think we need a break from party planning. That's just for like planning of anything. I need a break.
Yeah.
So I think I've gotten to this point where party planning or planning event or planning blank has just gotten super like outdone, and it just it was frustrating. I don't think they had great like it was okay, but they didn't really have great chemistry in my opinion. So yeah.
I basically agree with you. There were things I really liked in the movie, though. Things I really liked. First of all, I agree with you about Melissa Gilbert and her dad. They were really good together, and their like little cute dates were really fun. And I also really liked Erin Cahill. She's been kind of a revelation for me because I really liked the Last Vermont Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
It just really rang true to me. I responded to it. I really liked it. But she was great in that, and I thought she was really great in this. And I like her. And when they have that snow room, that boosted it a lot. I thought that snow room was so fun. You weren't a fan of the snow room?
No, I liked it. It was cute.
Yeah. It was so creative. What they do, if you haven't seen the movie, is her boyfriend, her fiance, because she's missing the snow because it's in Louisiana, he creates a whole room with shredded paper that's a snow room. And it was so cute. I was just like, that's adorable.
I had a teacher that did that for us when we were in elementary school because we're from California and there's no snow. So at the last day of school before Christmas break, he'd let us shred every piece of paper we'd turn in that semester and do like we'd fill the whole classroom with it, and it was awesome. So it was so cool.
Yeah, that's so cool. I've never heard of that. I thought it was just such a fun, creative thing for an element of one of these movies. I loved the snow room, and then I also thought they handled the near kiss so well. Like it was so well executed because they're just about to kiss, and Erin Cahill's character comes up and is like, Elizabeth, or whatever her name was, Noelle, and interrupts them, and she's like, oh, sorry, I was looking for you. And what I thought was so good about it is that like it was almost as if they had kissed, but it was almost one of the only times when the Erin Cahill character comes to her after, and she's like, I am so sorry. I did that. I am so sorry.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna be your sister soon. I just screwed up your kissing life. I apologize. This is not what sisters should do. Like,
and that never happens in one of these. You never have the person who interrupts the kiss actually like apologize, and then like later on they actually have a conversation like, oh, we were gonna, what about that? We were yes or whatever. And I just thought, see, that's how if because most of the time it's like so ridiculous that it doesn't feel believable at all. But like if it were to actually happen in real life and there was an actual near kiss, this is how it would actually happen, right? Somebody would feel bad that they interrupted, and then you'd have to talk about it afterwards.
Or it's like if I walked in on someone kissing, I'd be like, you know what? Continue. I'll come back later. Like
that was two standouts of this movie. But I agree with you. All the planning, whether it was planning it at the church, and then it's going to move to the barn, and I just was like, oh, okay. And that
how many venue problems are we going to have this year? Like,
yeah, right. And so the thing is, so they have her sing at the end, and I just want to say, Amy Winter, if you're listening, any other executives, if you're listening.
Wait, wasn't this on Lifetime?
What's that? This was
What
on
was
Lifetime.
it?
I'm just saying, any executive
Okay.
that are listening, making these choices, don't have your star sing "Oh Holy Night." Don't do it. It's a really hard song. If she had gotten up there and sung "Away in a Manger" or "First Noel" or any other Christmas song, it would have been perfectly fine. But she's getting up there singing "Oh Holy Night," where that song goes up in a complete octave through the whole song.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really hard song that even people like Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey have done badly. Like Diana Ross has done it badly. Like Patti LaBelle has sung it badly. People have sung it badly that know how to sing. So don't have your star, I've just seen it like multiple times this season, whether it's Jessica Lowndes, they had her sing "Oh Holy Night."
Mm-hmm.
This, they had her sing. And I feel like a couple other times. That's a bad song. Don't pick that song. It's just not.
Ugh.
If you have LeAnn Rimes in your movie, then maybe you could do it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Even then, I'd still pick something else. It's just a really hard song. So that was a mistake.
Every choir director, I did choir for a very long time. Every choir director I ever worked with, when it came around for Christmas time and everyone was like, oh, auditioning for their solos, every choir director would always say, unless you're Mariah Carey, you better not be trying to sing "Oh Holy Night." Like, it's not happening, guys.
Right, yeah.
Like, even Silent Night is a little iffy, okay? Like, they're like, we're singing Jingle Bells. And
yeah. Yeah, there's so many songs that you can do that are Christmas that just... So I just wanted to throw that out there because it's not that she had a fine voice. It was just not the song for her voice.
Oh yeah.
That's my feeling on that. But other than that, it was a harmless movie. I didn't mind watching. I thought it was sweet enough. But yeah, I agree. Some of the elements were really tired. But I'd say the good outweighed the bad for me on this one.
Yeah, it was good.
And so I'd give it 3 stars.
I'm going to agree with you. 3 stars.
I saw one called A Country Christmas Album, and this is on Ion, and this is honestly the best of Ion, I think, in this year. This is pretty simple, and it's one that's been done a lot, but you have this girl who's a country singer that's sort of paired with this guy who's a pop singer, and they have to make this album, this Christmas album. And if it doesn't hit, if it's not a success, then they'll lose their contracts and they're not going to get renewed. But I thought it was really well executed for what it was. I thought that both of the leads had pretty good chemistry. They both were pretty good actors, and they both had pretty good voices. I mean, I've seen enough movies like this to know that this was pretty decently executed. I thought all the songs, they do have a lot of songs, but I thought that they were pretty good songs and they did a good job. And she has this daughter, and her ex is kind of, that is kind of difficult sometimes. There was a little drama with that. And, questions like, should she go on the road, with her daughter and dealing with that, was like a million times better than anything that Chesapeake Shores did with music and the drama. I don't know. I thought it was decent. I would give it 3.5 stars.
I'm glad you just told me it was about a musical album, because the reason I didn't watch it and I picked something else when I had time to watch movies was because I thought it was about a photo album.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
So I was like, I'm going to pick something else. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like going to change your life, but overall, I thought that, I said in my race, it leans into all the tropes of a music rom-com movie, but it works. Good chemistry, and the singing was relatively believable for these kind of films. So there you go. That's my thoughts on that. And I did think it had a pretty nice ending, pretty fun romantic ending. So that was my favorite of the year from Ion, was Country Christmas Album. So all right, so let's see. Let's talk about A Christmas in Royal Fashions, one we both saw. This was also on Ion. This stars Cindy Busby. And basically, it's sort of a liar story where she is working for this fashion line, and she ends up kind of pretending to be the head of the fashion line And when a prince comes into town, they're doing a charity fashion show, something like that.
Was it a fashion line that she was in charge of, or was it a publicity company that they were running?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it was PR.
I was so confused.
But it's a fashion show.
Because I was confused because both of them were intertwining, and I'm like, wait, does she make clothes or does she do publicity? I'm so confused.
Yeah, it was a little confusing because she like did she want to be, yeah, I can't remember. I've seen so many of these princess movies. They're all meshing together.
Yeah.
But she ends up working with this prince to put on his fashion show. That I know. She works with the prince, put on the fashion show, and is pretending to be her boss, who, you're right, is a PR firm.
Okay.
And of course, once the news gets out that she's not actually the boss, then it's all this, oh, how could you lie to me, kind of a thing. But this was fine. I thought that Cindy was sweet enough. She's a sweet actress, and it was perfectly harmless. But for me, I just, she was so much better in Royal Heart. Well, you didn't like Royal Hearts, but for me, I liked Royal Hearts much better than this. And just because I really liked the grumpy old king and him wanting his dog, and all of that humor to me was very funny, the fish out of water kind of situation. And I just think that movie was way better made and on a way better scale than this. So since I've already seen her once in a princess movie this year and I thought that one was better, it took a hit for me. So it's not awful, but I don't know.
It was just kind of, I don't know, it dragged. I feel like it took forever them to get to the goal. And then just everyone was rude in her life. I feel like everybody was rude to her at some point, and it just...
Yeah, and she was very, like, victim, like,
yeah,
everybody's being so mean to me, and it's like, no, you like, stole someone's identity. Like, that's, like, you could be prosecuted for that. Like,
also, it was her best friend's idea. I was like, whose best friend comes up with this idea?
And of course she's gonna, like, they were kind of like, how could you fire her? The prince was all mad, and I'm like, of course she's gonna fire her. What are you, nuts? She just pretended to be her for like a long time, and this is so of course she's gonna fire her. So you just kind of had to. This was just a Christmas movie, and whatever. I think I probably would have enjoyed it more if I hadn't seen like 15 this year. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I gave it 2 stars.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 2 stars too.
Yeah. I saw one called Coins for Christmas, and this is one we were pretty down on it in our preview, and it sounded more I don't know, depressing, I guess, than it really was. It's basically about this woman played by Essence Adkins, who has 2 kids, and she ends up losing her job right around Christmas, and so she's doing whatever she can to make ends meet. There's also all this problems with her ex and this IRS bill that's come. But she ends up becoming like an Uber driver, basically. And the whole movie was sponsored by Uber, so there's lots of like Uber stuff. And anyway, she ends up getting to know becoming a driver kind of for this football player who is kind of a prima donna, but is trying to adjust kind of back into regular life after an injury. And so they have a lot of sort of debates about the ways to live and stuff. And some people, it'll be just, it's not escapism enough. It'll be a little too realistic, but I actually thought it was a sweet little movie. I thought it had a nice heart to it. I thought Essence Adkins was really good. I think she's actually a really solid actress. She's probably better than this movie deserves, to be honest. She's quite good. And it had a nice heart to it. The kids were like not awful and bratty. They were like helping, and they were totally understanding when she told them, oh, I'm going to be late getting your Christmas presents. They were like, it's fine, Mom. Like, reasonable. And they like gathered together and did like various projects so that they could pay for Christmas dinner. Like, they were cool. They were cool kids. And her friend was really cool, who was waiting for her husband to get back home from the military. And anyway, I just bought into this family, and I thought it was a sweet little movie, and it's actually not that much of a romance that you might think. So I liked it. It was good. I think yeah, it was decent, and so I'd give it 3.5 stars. And it was really cool. I posted my review, and Essence Adkins liked my review, which made me happy. I'm like, oh, yay. Because she probably doesn't get a ton of feedback about this film. That made me feel good. So good job, Essence. Way to go. Okay, we have to talk about the glory that is Santa Jaws.
Oh my gosh.
If you listened to the horror episode, you heard my thoughts on Santa Jaws already, but I will repeat it for those that didn't listen to that one. And you know what? Like, of course you go into a movie like Santa Jaws thinking it's going to be awful, but I guess I actually, you kind of have to appreciate things for what they're trying to do and what they're trying to be. And this movie is trying to be a schlocky horror comedy. And I think it completely succeeded in being a schlocky horror comedy. I think this was way better and way more creative than any of the Sharknado movies, for example. It actually like had people who, whereas the Sharknado movies, like they're trying to make a bad movie.
Yeah.
And that's different than people that are trying to, how do I explain it? It's different than people that are trying to make something kind of silly. I don't know. It's different than people that are intentionally trying to make a bad movie. That's not the case with Santa Jaws. It was actually like mildly creative. It's about this kid who hates his family at Christmas, and they are kind of awful. And he starts drawing this comic called Santa Jaws. This thing. And so all of a sudden on Christmas Eve, the Santa Jaws appears. And it's very silly and very over the top. Like when the various kills are like you'll have like the Santa Jaws like spear through someone, and there's no blood. It's so ridiculous. But that's all part of the fun of it. If you like that kind of, it's all part of the appeal, the schlocky, the silly visuals. That's all just part of the fun of something like this. And I actually thought like the key to this kind of movie for it to work, in my opinion, is that if any of the actors are irritating and annoying, then it's miserable. But if all the characters are having fun, then you'll have fun too watching it. And none of the characters were annoying. I liked all the characters. They were all fun. And so I actually, believe it or not, I actually enjoyed Santa Jaws. I thought if you like schlocky horror comedies, you'll like this. And so there you go. That's my recommendation for Santa Jaws. I'd watch it again. I did. I actually liked it. I did.
No.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was fun.
Okay. So, maybe I'm going to really have to watch it then, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's the kind of thing that have you seen the Sharknado movies?
The first one, yeah.
Okay. So if you've seen that, I mean, like I said, I think this is genuinely better than that, but that's just the kind of thing. It's
anything is better than Sharknado. Sorry, is that really mean?
No, I do agree. I mean, I think that, but I don't know. It's just a particular genre and type of movie that I think it actually did what it was trying to do well, and I enjoyed it. And maybe it's just the fact I've seen 75 Christmas movies, and so it felt fun to see something totally bonkers and different. I don't know, but yeah, let me know if you do see it. Let me know what you think.
Okay, I will.
It's only an hour and 25 minutes, so what do you got to lose?
An hour and 25 minutes. It's fine. I'll watch it while I'm doing something else slightly productive.
Yeah. Just folding your laundry. Just watch Santa Jaws. Perfect. And I don't think there was anything too bad. Aside from the ridiculous kills.
It's not going to, like, traumatize my 12-year-old little brother, is it?
I don't think so. I mean, the kills are so ridiculous. Like I said, just, like, spearing through someone with almost no blood. And you can see, like, the there's somewhere where somebody's legs get cut off, but it's just like I mean, I could make I could do the legs with my own Photoshop skills.
Oh my gosh.
So bad. But again, to me, that's all part of the appeal of it. It's all part of the fun of this kind of a thing. If it looked really good, then it wouldn't be fun.
Yeah.
Anyway. No, there's the one girlfriend wears like a bikini. And there might be a little bit of language and a little bit of lewd talk, but I can't remember. But not too bad.
I mean, he's 12. He's in middle school. He experiences those things.
I think he'd be fine then. But anyway, so there's Santa Jaws, and so is that everything? Okay. All right. So let's talk about Christmas Pen Pals. So Christmas Pen Pals stars Sarah Drew and Niall Mater, and they were high school sweethearts basically, but they got separated. Because she goes to the big city. We've seen this part all before. But what's cool about this movie is, so she comes back, and the town does this Christmas pen pal exchange for the month of December or whatever, where they match all these different people up with a pen pal, and you exchange like regular letters, not emails. And so you have the thing I think that made this movie work so well, at least for me, was that they had a lot of different relationships of people who were writing letters, and who's writing to who. You're trying to figure it out. And I liked every single character in this movie. I loved her dad, played by Michael Gross. I thought he was great. I thought his whole thing of who he was writing to was great. I loved Giles Panton as this doctor. He was great. I liked the girl that he was writing to. I loved Sarah and Niall. I don't think that Niall Mater, in my opinion, has been sexier than in this movie. He was so good.
Okay.
And, I mean,
he's like old enough to be my father, so this is like...
Cardi Wong was great in it. Everybody was so good, and I was just so happy for every single one of these relationships. And I just love this concept of this idea of people writing letters and falling in love over letters at Christmas. It was so good, and I loved this movie. I thought it was great. I really thought that Sarah Drew and Niall Mater had great chemistry. I loved the ending, was so good. The dialogue was good. This was one of my favorites of the year for sure. I loved it.
They were so good together.
Oh.
Like, it was just so, and the way their acting was, it was like you knew that they had a relationship before. Yeah. Like, they did it so well. I was so impressed. And I mean, I know they're both amazing actors. Like, I mean, I've watched Grey's Anatomy for the past 15 seasons. Like, I know Sarah Drew can act, okay? Yeah. But, like, it was just, I don't know, there was just something about them together. It was so amazing, and I would like to see a sequel. Oh. I don't know how they could do it, but I would love to. And just I don't know, it was like something kind of new.
Well, what I would love, I could almost see another, maybe have them in it, as sort of as more of a cameo kind of situation, kind of like what they did with Letters in Evergreen. Mm-hmm. But have another set of people that are matched in this town. And another set of pen pals. That would be so fun. It could be it would be great. So I don't know. I just, like I said, the ending was so good when she's like, you gave the book to Daniel? Why would you give the book to Daniel? I was like, I know. And she's like, ooh, that's a spark. Just because she's been analyzing everything for this dating app that she's created. Mm-hmm. And so she's been thinking very analytical, and so of course by the end of the movie she's learned to kind of also have that spark and also have that, not just be the numbers. And I had actually never seen her in anything. I haven't watched Grey's Anatomy for a long time, so she was new to me, and I loved her. She was wonderful.
Yeah. She's fantastic. And I also recommend her and the guy from Love in Vermont. Was it Vermont? The one you really liked.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Main guy. The two of them, they were together on Grey's Anatomy, but they were also together in a movie called Invisible. And it was, he was an army went away to war and she was the wife, and it came out in like October, and it was in select theaters. And I haven't been able to see it because it wasn't near me. I couldn't see it, but I'm waiting for it to come out because it looks so good, and they have really great chemistry, especially since they've been working together for like ever. But yeah.
Yeah, the critic, William Bibiani, who's been on our show a couple times before, he gave it a pretty good review, and he's not religious at all, and he gave it a pretty positive review. So I that caught my attention. So I definitely want to see that. Yeah, she was great. He was great, and just so many times the parent kind of thing doesn't really work in these kind of things. But I loved Michael Rose as her dad. I thought he was really good, and I loved his sort of relationship and her coming to kind of accept that with her mother's passing. It was great. So if you haven't seen it, it's definitely, like I said, one of the best of the year so far. So there we go. That is the movies that we've seen. It's been a really fun season, and we've already been talking that we're definitely going to keep podcasting about stuff because we really have been enjoying it. We hope you guys have enjoyed all these non-Hallmark podcasts that we've been doing for Christmas, and let us know if you got to see any of these movies, what you thought of them, how many stars would you give them. Put in the comments or on Twitter. Let us know. We really appreciate it. And thanks so much, Amy. You're the best.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been awesome. I loved it so much.
Yeah, it's been really, really fun. It's been my pleasure. And how can people find you online?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at It's Amy Craig, and then on YouTube, youtube.com/WeekendAllStars. Vlogmas is almost over. I have a few more days left, and then one video, and then I'm taking a break until daily vlogs from when I go to visit Rachel and Amber.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be so fun.
Have you been vlogged? Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm so excited.
It will be the best. So we have that to look forward to. Make sure you're following Amy on all of her social media and on her channel. Come on, guys. Watch it. It's really fun. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews on iTunes and on YouTube. Just published this week my worst films of the year list, which is always a highlight for YouTubers. And you want to check that out. And we had tons of content here on the podcast that you want to check out. Lots of good stuff coming. We got some good guests that are going to be coming. Next week we have all the Feels girls that are going to be coming to do our recap, and that will be great. We're going to be recapping When Calls the Heart, which will be really fun. The Christmas special, and then we're going to be having our own top 10 list. We're going to be doing our preview for Winterfest with Greg McBride, and that's going to be a blast. We just have tons of fun stuff coming up in the next little bit. So definitely want to be following the podcast, and let us know what you think, and give us your ratings and reviews on iTunes and on YouTube. And that's very helpful. And Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you all later. Bye.
Merry Christmas.